Meantime, squatters could face jail or a fine under a new law which makes squatting a criminal offence in England and Wales. The rules, which come into force tomorrow, mean those occupying an abandoned or empty property without the owner's permission will no longer be able to claim so-called squatters' rights. Liz Pease, Chief Executive of British Property Federation, is in our central London studio for us this afternoon. Hi Liz.
Good afternoon.
What do you see as the benefits of the new law?
Well, I think it is not at all unreasonable that if somebody has their property taken away from them, they should be able to get it back as quickly and easily as possible. And one of the previous comments was that there are existing remedies to do this. Well, there have been, but they've been through the civil courts. They've been very, very variable, depending on where you are, often very slow, often very expensive. And if there is an owner who is there and feels aggrieved, I don't think that's at all fair that they should have to go through that process to get back what is theirs.
Yeah, Liz, I think you've got your phone on actually while we're chatting to you, so it's slightly affecting your microphone. I'll let you just sort that out. And then I wanted to ask you in a little bit more detail about whether you had any sympathy for those who have nowhere else to go. That's certainly one of the suggestions that has been made by those who are living in squats, for example.
I have a lot of sympathy. I mean, we have a housing crisis in this country, and the housing crisis needs to be dealt with. I don't think allowing people to move in and take over illegally a property that is actually somebody else's and that they want to use. I think there's a big difference when there's something that's been sitting empty for sort of 5 years. You know, there is no sort of owner who's going to rush in and want to do anything with it. But I do think that we need to tackle homelessness, but we don't do it by allowing people to take other people's property.
And what about impact on commercial property? Presumably the new rules that are in place from tomorrow mean that it will affect domestic housing, but it doesn't, as far as I understand it, affect commercial property at this stage.
That's actually true, and when we commented on the government's consultation document on this, we actually said that it would be sensible to make the change in law applicable across the whole of the property, the range of property, commercial and residential. The government have chosen not to do this. It only applies to residential, and there is certainly a degree of concern that this will perhaps sort of move people into commercial premises, and then we'll be back into this same business of having to go through a civil procedure in order to evict somebody, if you actually want immediately to get your property back.
What happens at the moment then, as of today, as opposed to what will happen tomorrow?
Well, I think a lot will depend on individual circumstances. It's very easy to sort of just pile this all into, oh, you know, some people are perfectly justified in going in and taking over a property that wasn't used. That may actually indeed be the case, and I can't imagine that if somebody doesn't complain, the police aren't going to go around looking for squatters and turning them out. This is a law that is actually going to help when there is an aggrieved property owner who is deeply concerned to find that the property he wants, either to live in or perhaps to redevelop, has actually been taken over by somebody else. Then he can complain to the police, then the police can do something about it, and there'll be a speedier resolution in that sort of situation than there has been until now.
Okay, Liz, great to talk to you. Thanks for joining us.
Right.